Yeah. Hey, I'm here, and yeah, I want to ramble about essentially what the hell has been going on. That's it. All right. Basically, we already know. Well, okay, I'll talk about it. It's a little bit obvious, and I have nothing else I want to talk about, or that's on my mind. So while I roll up, I want to talk about and roll up the overall experience of what happened these past 2 months, low key. So yeah, okay. So the government shutdown lasted for like 45 days, the longest in history. Last one lasted for like 35, 40 days, and that was around 2000 and like 18, 2019 era. Yeah. And the difference is between then and now is the economy is different. You know, the presidential administration was different, like the structure was different than it is now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And global politics are a little bit skewed. So yeah, we went through that shutdown and it hit us like a ton of fucking bricks. A lot of people suffered, and even though like SNAP benefits have been restored, that doesn't mean that people are okay. So essentially what that means is that people actually are still going through struggles from the shutdown. People who are lower income, people who are in middle income, people who have more, a stable but precarious foundation. A lot of people who have lost their jobs from being furloughed by the government, and some even stepped out and got fired or quit. They're having a hard time finding another job.
The government shutdown might be over, but many people who relied on assistance are still dealing with the fallout.
And investigative reporter Liz Crawford is here with more on how those receiving SNAP benefits have still been affected by this.
Well, good evening, guys. What we're finding is that many people were forced to use money they typically spent on rent and utility bills for food. So while most now have their SNAP benefits, they're trying to get caught up in other areas during the most expensive time of the year.
Tavia Farrington Beatty is a single mom of 5 in Philadelphia. She says she can't work due to a disability and homeschools 2 of her kids. She counts on assistance from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP.
It got tough because, being a single mom and actually being a disabled single mom, I really had to use what I saved.
She said feeding her children, who are between the ages of 8 and 17, became the priority over other bills. Farrington Beatty said she even received a shutdown notice from her power company.
At the same time, I'm on the phone trying to get the electricity to stay on. They turned off the Wi-Fi because I owed that too. So everything was just falling apart.
She's not alone. Lydia Gottesfeld, an attorney with Community Legal Services, a program that offers free legal help to low-income Philadelphians, says many of her clients are struggling to get back on track. While they're all caught up on SNAP payments, that doesn't help them pay off other bills because SNAP is only for food purchases.
I think November was an incredibly challenging time to go without SNAP, even for just a couple weeks. As the weather gets colder and as the holidays approach, people have even more expenses than usual.
Many SNAP recipients are also eligible for the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP, which is especially important during the colder months. The application process was delayed because of the shutdown.
So this is a key resource for folks that was also missing in November, sort of compounding the loss of SNAP, that we hope that people know is still there.
Farrington Beatty says she plans to apply as soon as the application process opens, now scheduled for December 3rd. She says one expense she won't be able to make up in time: gifts for her kids this Christmas. She said she'd been saving all year, hoping this December would be different.
I don't remember the last time I was able to give them a tree and put some presents under a tree for them and actually give them Christmas.
Now, advocates are still urging those who can to donate to local food pantries and to toy drives because the need is still there, especially during the holiday season. The need is greater than ever. And we do have some more information about all of this on our website, cbsphiladelphia.com. Resources for people, but also where you can donate.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please check it out. Thank you.
Finding another job, and they are, relying on gig work such as DoorDash and Uber and everything else, probably selling feet pics. Who knows? But yeah, that's really what's been going on, and that's really is the reality. And the thing is, of course, the government is going to act like things are just as well and smells just as good as this weed right here. However, things are not great, for individuals, for the majority of people. The government shutdown has affected me in the slightest way because I make my money through, business to consumer selling. However, it has hit the hardest for individuals who are disabled, who rely on SNAP benefits, who has children, and in general, people who are not in, industries where they're able to get a flexible and stable lifestyle, or at least just stable shit. Yeah, that's pretty much the precarious matter that's been happening right now. So when the government shutdown was happening, what's going on, people have been relying on like buy now, pay later, like Klarna, Afterpay, I don't know, Sezzle? I think so. PayPal paying for, even Amazon has some type of buy now, pay later aspect as well. All that can congregate down to food, and to even maybe they can pay some bills with Cash App borrowing, like payday loans and credit cards and stuff like that. I do wonder how many people try to open up credit cards if they got approved for it and, use that or utilize that, for survival, or are doing it now, right? Okay, so, Thanksgiving just passed. Yeah, it really did. And the thing is, I was, at the Black Friday sale because I was accompanying my mother because she wanted to go. I did my own version of it like a day before Thanksgiving because there were sales around my area. The thing is, a lot of people at the mall, everyone was there. 80% of individuals only had a bag, and the bag really was just like one small bag, right? The rest of the people there obviously were empty-handed, but everyone there had one small bag. And of course, that's completely different than before. And a smaller group of people, well, I was in a mall, but shit, a smaller group of people did some type of like Christmas shopping. However, it's like, things are being shown that, there is a sense of instability that's going on that is just, left unsaid, or based upon my algorithm, it's something that's just not apparent for me. However, I do see it in person. A lot of people are not looking happy as well, and you're seeing less things in people's hands, and everyone's just kind of roaming around. Of course, people want to feel normal. Of course, people want to feel or experience something that's outside of responsibility and stress.
A lot of kids are hoping for snow so they can go sledding tomorrow. So we'll see how
get out of the house. Parents will be happy about that.
Right. All right. So let's talk about Black Friday. It doesn't really have it doesn't draw the big crowds like it did in previous years, but still has shoppers excited to buy things.
And at least Marina's out there.
Yes, of course.
Marina Silva looks at the economic impact of Black Friday this year.
It's a pretty mixed bag on who you ask. Some people say they would rather shop in person, while others, they'd rather shop online. Either way, experts say consumers are still going to open up their wallets this year.
Black Friday, it's the biggest shopping day of the year. Historically, malls are filled right at midnight to score the biggest deals. But this year, many say it's pretty calm. Mia Boltink and Ruby Murphy spent part of their day at Glendale Shopping Center, hitting up stores like Target and Old Navy.
Hopefully get some good deals.
While they found some sales, they say they weren't met with the large crowds.
Not that much, honestly. Yeah. I think it might be a chill Christmas Black Friday.
And that echoes what experts say. Black Friday just isn't the same.
It seems like Black Friday is no longer a Friday, right? It's an entire month, if not a month and a half.
Carissa Newton is an assistant professor at the University of Indianapolis. She says things have changed in the past few years. especially when it comes to what shoppers are buying.
I think people are definitely more conscious of price and shopping a lot more now. And with technology, there's so many options to be able to do that.
As for those deals, Newton says consumers are still spending some big bucks.
They're spending more. And I think part of that dynamic is I don't think retailers are going as steep on the discounting. That loss leader approach has certainly changed.
Her biggest advice to people ahead of the holiday shopping season: do your research so you can find the most for your buck ahead of the holiday season.
Merry Christmas. We've been checking out Black Friday crowds all day long. Our Anna Chalker shows us how people woke up early to start spending. Anna?
Lined up outside the Greenwood Mall are shoppers bundled up and braving the cold to get their hands on Black Friday deals.
It's like a lot of excitement, I feel like.
That excitement keeping them up all night so they could be first in line.
But it wasn't as busy this year when we got to the mall. We assumed there'd be way more people.
For many, this day is a part of traditions.
We've done it since I can remember.
But for others,
it's like, oh, we always see it in the videos or movies of like waking up at like 2 in the morning to go to Black Friday shopping. So like, let's try it. And so then we are.
They're experiencing the shopping craze for the first time.
One of the hottest deals we've seen and biggest crowds all day long, right here at Bath & Body Works, a buy 3, get 4 free deal. Who doesn't like the sound of that? And there has been a line outside of this store all day long. And you know, all these shoppers are telling us the deals and everything is great, but the best part about Black Friday, being together with their family and creating these holiday memories.
I don't get to be with them as much as I want to be, so when we can do this, I want to be right in the middle of it.
A day for cashing in deals and holiday moments. In Greenwood, Anna Chalker, 13 News.
Of course, people want a life outside of erraticism. So therefore, everyone's going to be at the mall, and it's one of the remaining third places where you can legally loiter. It's a right for us to loiter at certain places at certain times. And it is just a third place, right? That doesn't necessarily require money out of you. Only just your physical presence, and that's enough. And people are primarily like engaging in group eating rather than shopping, which I thought that was an interesting dichotomy, because in the past people would like trample each other over a $500 96-inch TV. But like things were like so cheap, people were not really purchasing. Well, I would not necessarily say cheap, but things were heavily discounted, right? Like I got myself 2 pairs of jackets for like 50% off. They were like $50, got them on sale for $25. That type shit. So, you know, things aren't that bad. And of course, I got it from Macy's, so they're name brand bullshits. But the thing is, people do not have enough money, and I did see that. The majority of people there were families, young people, small amount of geriatric niggas, and, you know, kids. And that's kind of the thing. You know, people have been more quiet. However, I guess everyone notices it. But people seldom, I guess, speak about it. Right? Because in Thanksgiving, like, no one really was jumping on Thanksgiving. Like, people were seldom showing their plates. But in the past, the memes, the engagement was up. Everyone was sharing shit, girl. It's not that no more. Not anymore. So obviously it has been hurting people. This shit has been hurting people more than we may know, of course. And also I was seeing on social media and on the news, people in non-profit organizations and companies were giving out turkeys and other free food to the matter for Thanksgiving.
The sting of the government shutdown is far from over. This weekend, the need for food was clear.
And lines were very long at turkey giveaways all across Southern California just ahead of Thanksgiving. NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi joins us live here in the studio with the impact of the economy on the holiday season and also the help that's still available this week. Camilla.
Jonathan and Kathy, one professor of economics I spoke with today, says inflation and higher food prices are putting a lot of stress on families going into the holiday season. This just after millions of people here in Southern California were impacted by SNAP benefit delays due to the government shutdown, and food giveaway organizers say the need has only grown.
Happy Thanksgiving.
As Thanksgiving Day inches closer, more people can be seen standing in line for food. This is what it looked like in Pasadena this morning. This turkey giveaway was hosted for families impacted by the Eaton fire.
My future is gone. I have no future. I cannot build because I don't have enough money.
And this wasn't the only giveaway over the weekend. Another Thanksgiving distribution took place in Commerce yesterday.
We know that there's a great need in the community. We've done this for many years here at IBW, but this year especially, we can see that the need has been greater.
Along with 2 other events, from the Magic Johnson holiday giveaway in Inglewood.
Right there, right there. We're just trying to bless them. It's been a rough year for the city.
We've had people who have been furloughed or laid off, and we have people who haven't been getting benefits.
To this turkey giveaway at Mariachi Plaza.
People who waited in line last night starting at 10 p.m.
It's a growing need, being impacted not only by the unemployment rate, but also inflation and higher food prices, according to University of San Diego Associate Professor of Economics, Alan Jin.
More problems in terms of unemployment in Los Angeles. And that puts a lot of stress on people. You know, they don't have jobs. They can't afford then to spend money. And so that is problematic. In terms of prices, inflation is still a problem. The latest report was for September. It showed that year over year inflation was 3%. So prices are up 3% in 2025 compared to the same period then in 2024.
And back at this turkey giveaway in Pasadena, people here say they are grateful for support during this challenging time.
Life is about not just take, share and give love and care and compassion.
And if you still need help putting food on your Thanksgiving table, there are plenty of events scheduled for this week, including a drive-through food distribution event hosted by the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank tomorrow at Belvedere Park in East LA from 9 in the morning to noon. I'll send it back to you, Jonathan and Kathy.
All right, Camilla, thank you so much. And NBC4 and Telemundo 52 are here to help you as well. Our Helping Our Community in the Fight Against Hunger campaign begins tomorrow. It runs through December 31st. You'll be able to donate when you check out at any Ralph's or Food for Less location, or you can text the number on your screen. 100% of your donations will go directly to regional food banks and to local food pantries.
Thanksgiving for families. So, yeah, things are not going that great. And that's something I just want to talk about, right? Because guess what's coming up? Because, like, before I get to that point, niggas were not even loud about fucking Halloween, but I think the government shutdown was going on around that time period anyways. But still, even before the shutdown happened, people have been more quiet this year. Of course, they've been going through a lot. Of course, but still, people have been more quiet. Okay, now let's talk about the obvious. What's next, okay? Because I've been hearing the fucking music since October 1st. Christmas, like, I don't know. So Christmas, oh my fucking god. I know everyone and their fucking dog is trying to fuck up the opportunities. They try their best to get some sales for Christmas. Everyone's doing that shit. That's why Black Friday is just bumping this quick. And I guess Black Friday was always like, I don't know, this soon, but it never felt like this. I do know many people are not going to be able to purchase, or, you know, family members, anything at all. And if so, maybe something under $50, right? I have a feeling really people are not going to be able to buy anything, though. One thing I've noticed, no one, I know, it hasn't been December 1st, but still, I haven't heard anyone talk about buying Christmas trees. I haven't seen niggas touching Christmas trees. I haven't even seen physical, real Christmas trees in my area as I used to. Yeah, so there's that going on there. So I don't know. I think people are just going to start drawing the fucking tree and taping the paper on the fucking wall. If that, they can fucking afford that. And that's what, essentially what I'm looking at next. The obvious parts of All About Christmas and how anything that relates to at least American, season, specifically holiday celebrations. My name is not Bella Thorne, but I do have dyslexia. Okay? Alright. And we're seeing how capitalistic, well, I always knew it was like this, but it really does showcase it because, companies are more desperate than niggas. I'm sorry. Companies have been more desperate than people trying to hit at night. I'm serious, dude. And that's the thing right there. I'm seeing them fucking desperate to get a sale in. And I know things are just not working out well. Spirit Airlines, some of their terminals have been smacked down, shut the
Flight
fuck
costs
down.
on the rise this Thanksgiving. That was the concern when budget airline Spirit Airlines reduced its West Coast destinations from Harry Reid International Airport. Tonight, News 3 digs into the numbers. Our Will Silverstein, you've been on this story for months, Will. You have new data tonight. So what can you tell us? Is it going to cost more to some of these locations that Spirit cut costs with?
It's absolutely going to cost more for your Thanksgiving vacation for those flights leaving on Wednesday, returning back on Friday for those round-trip destinations, of course, to those places where Spirit has cut. And that's just one of two concerns. The other concern going forward is if you cut a route or a destination, does that mean another airline picks it up? Find out.
With Spirit leaving, there's just one less option for those consumers.
And one less option means higher prices for Las Vegas residents trying to travel for the Thanksgiving holiday. Last month, Spirit cut several routes from its West Coast destination list. But according to the most recent travel data from Harry Reid International Airport, passengers were already ditching the twice bankrupt airline. Pilot Tal Eslick says less travelers and less routes are driving the cost of travel up.
Spirit leaving the market will have upward cost pressure. Some are saying 10 to 15%.
Since there's no competition, quality of the goods and service that you're going to get is going to decrease.
Economist Gökçe Soydemir says you can expect those flight costs to go up as well. Fellow low-cost budget flyer Southwest Airlines has the most flights to the recently discontinued destinations. Those include Bay Area cities Oakland, Sacramento, and San Jose. Those three cities, together with San Francisco, make up the most inbound passengers to Las Vegas from anywhere in the country. Not to mention those cities are home base to several thousand California transplants who recently started calling the battle-born state their home.
If one gets out, that's going to have provide others monopoly power. Whenever you have monopoly power, then you're going to charge a higher price.
We have seen a capacity increase to about 20 of those routes.
Luke Nimmo with Harry Reid International Airport putting to rest a concern for travelers of less availability. He says capacity increases show other airlines are picking up the routes.
All the markets that Spirit has cut from LAS, we do have other airlines that have there's either one or more airlines that operate those same routes. So there is still capacity and there's still options for travelers that want to go to those same places that Spirit just happens to not be flying from here at LAS.
There may be options, but what is the cost? It's just as Eslick and Soydemir predict, high and higher. News 3 checking Expedia for pricing for 4 airports Spirit recently severed routes with. That would be Oakland, Sacramento, San Diego, and San Jose. A Thanksgiving round trip to Oakland, its cheapest price is $367 on Southwest. For Sacramento, $479 on Delta. San Jose, $436 on Frontier. And in Southern California, San Diego has multiple airlines offering $218 flights.
You will see maybe higher prices. It's precisely those higher prices that lure airlines into the market.
That's veteran airline expert Gary Leff, who writes for his travel website View from the Wing. Leff suggests there is some light at the end of the tunnel for those hoping for the return of the California destinations, or at least some new routes with better pricing in the future.
There are more seats in the country than there were before Spirit's second bankruptcy. But obviously there's going to be some route disruption in the meantime.
All right, so the news there is that you have maybe more flights than you had before, even with Spirit, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to the same places that Spirit was going to. And he says one of the biggest enemies when you come to think about some of these airlines tends to be whether or not maybe airlines are charging more, or for these passengers, whether airlines are charging more. You think, okay, it falls on the airline, not the passenger. He actually says that it goes on to those other passengers, the ones that are choosing to spend more money to fly other airlines that then price out the budget airlines. And the more that happens, the less people go with those low budget airlines, the more expensive those tickets will be, and perhaps more routes cut for those low budget airlines.
So the market has an impact too. All right, Will, we know about Thanksgiving. What about Christmas and New Year's pricing? What are the experts telling you?
Well, the experts say what you always hear, which is if you're going to buy, you want to buy right now. You don't want to wait to go buy later on. You always want to buy that month in advance, not that one day in advance that we're doing right now. So that's the biggest piece of advice. The rest of the advice seems to be, what they're suggesting is that what happens in January dictates what happens in the rest of the year. If tourism starts to boost in Las Vegas, that means maybe more of those flights that we saw leave Las Vegas, like those Spirit ones, come back.
All right, so stay tuned. The message there, Will Silverstein, thanks for that live report from Las Vegas's main airport. And as you heard from Will, Spirit discontinued several routes in California. They also stopped service to and from Las Vegas to these western cities as well. Albuquerque, New Mexico, Boise, Idaho, Portland, Oregon, Salt Lake City, Utah. All 4 destinations do have round-trip flights from Harry Reid with other airlines. Following the discontinuation of those routes, Spirit Airlines announced it will be furloughing around 400 Las Vegas-based flight attendants. The furlough expected to take place around December 1st. Some economists say the canceled flights and furloughs will not only hurt prospective tourists and the attendants themselves, but also our local economy.
It's all their salaries multiplied by like 1.3 or 1.4, which is that impact on the local Las Vegas economy, right? If they're not able to find another job, or if they find a lower paying job, then again, so the economic impact, even though Las Vegas is a very large economy, will probably be felt.
For our full Spirit Airlines coverage, head over to news3lv.com.
Now, shut the fuck down. That means their other flights are more expensive than before, and that's going to trickle down to other airlines. Just because I haven't heard anything yet about other airlines, that doesn't mean shit's not going to happen. And that's really the thing there, is like the thing is, flights and most times were delayed and shut down, canceled. People had to go keep paying for flights, staying there for days, drive state lines, like low-key country lines if they could. 10, 12 fucking hours, 3 days. Things have been much more stressful and much more expensive in the short term for people, more than before. And I know for sure, just because some people were able to come over to visit their family, that doesn't mean like the majority of Americans are able to visit and see their family as well. They're just showing the people who can do that. And we don't know how that even was implemented as well. Groups of people pulling in money, credit cards, like I said, flying to, locations, driving the rest of the way. It could be anything. So essentially, this makes me think about what's going to be next for Christmas. Because the thing is, for Halloween, bitch. Well, yeah, for Halloween, people didn't really actually purchase costumes, and a lot of people's costumes weren't really, like, creative. Like, real shit. I'm not even fucking lying like that. A lot of people's costumes were cheap costumes, respectfully, and there's nothing wrong with cheap-ass fucking costumes. Because I didn't even dress up fucking this year. I didn't care. But that's the thing. It's like, people can't afford it. People usually go all out. They love them fucking photo shoots, too. They love that shit. And so, like, you see that. You see the precursor. Thanksgiving, ass. No one fucking ate shit. Like, not many people really showcased their plates, and it was fucking more worse and bland looking than last year. So what's going to be next for Thanksgiving? What's going to be next for Christmas? We saw what happened for Thanksgiving. Guess what? It's going to be much more sad for Christmas. And that's essentially what I'm just seeing there about what's really next to this present moment. And what is that general precursor? What does that communicate for 2026? Okay, so what my guess will be with this skinny ass blunt it will be people who will basically, I say you'll be in a deficit. I don't think people are going to fully, not everyone, it's going to fully starve yet and be in hotels, but they have. I do believe that there's going to be just less and less. And I do believe there's going to be more focusing on lack. Because when something strong like this happens and everything is so focused on capitalism, and there's not really any third place spaces or any opportunities to enjoy life without spending money, that's just going to be there. In my honest opinion, people are going to really focus on the more pessimistic side of things, especially when you think about it. Because when I said about Halloween, you buy costumes, you buy candy, and you buy a shit ton of it. You go give it to people, and you go and party to dress up. And of course, these are pagan holidays that just been capitalized on. And then Thanksgiving, you spend a fucking ton of money. You even take a trip to go see family. You share food, you eat with them, you go. Christmas, they're all so close together. If you notice that. You buy a shit ton of gifts. You buy decorations, you even buy, Christmas tree or whatever. You might even fly over to visit family, whatever the fuck. It's just a lot of spending money, buying shit, giving it to people. So, like, twice a year, besides your birthday, besides Valentine's Day, but that's really interesting. If I like the majority, not all of them, all of the holidays celebrated are based upon how much money you have. And the thing is, the opportunities for people to celebrate it, has been weaker because, back in the day where you can have rent like a, one bedroom, for $600 a month, you need to make $50 to $200 a day. The gap is much more smaller than now, at least for where I live. You have to spend at least like $2,000, $2,500 for a studio that's kind of decent, or just a studio in general. And you had to go make $100 a day or $50 a day to meet that same quota. So, yeah, the same 30-day quota. The gap is much more bigger. So, therefore, the opportunities to live a life that didn't seem so capitalistic is going to be much more smaller to obsolete. There's not going to be an opportunity anymore. So, that's essentially what I'm seeing, saying, thinking, and feeling. Let me go toke this up. So, essentially, I think people are going to recreate things that they did during the pandemic, which is FaceTiming niggas. Because that's really the most affordable way you can do it. FaceTime niggas. You eat the food you have at home. Top ramen. That's really the alternative there, because plane tickets, bare minimum, could be from $100 to $900, depending where you live. If you're not living with family, Airbnbs or hotels are at least like, $125 to $300 a night. Unless you live in a motel and, fight roaches, before you go to bed. Or you sleep with them, you want to compromise. We're all in this together. You have a choice. So, that's the thing. When it's like an easy $2,000 or more to see your family, and even not that, but you're in the word of the day is precarious. Where you're in a precarious situation where the majority of people, were federal workers, and regardless of that, those who weren't but were relying to those said federal workers and sources of like airport, like economy of transportation, entertainment, service, hospitality, even logistics. All of that comes together on the whole trickle down effect of how, you know, in a complex way, it affects a multitude of dynamics of people's lives. Like, it can affect 3 things in one person's life and 1 thing in another person's life to mild to extreme degrees. And in return, what I'm just curious about is how the ripple effect is going to continue. It already started by the first day this shutdown was implemented, and just because it ended on the 45th day doesn't mean that it's done. So that's pretty much it. This one was not really a ramble. It was simply just me sharing my thoughts. Peace out. I hope things get better. I don't know. I guess hope is a step 1 of the thing. I don't know. Fuck. I don't know, man.